SDG 8 is to promote sustained, inclusive and sustainable economic growth, full and productive employment and decent work for all. Within SDG 8 are 12 targets, of which we here focus on Target 8.8, which is protect labour rights and promote safe and secure working environments for all workers, including migrant workers, in particular women migrants and those in precarious employment. Target 8.8 has two indicators. Indicator 8.8.1 is fatal and non-fatal occupational injuries per 100,000 workers by sex and migrant status, and Indicator 8.8.2 is level of national compliance with labour rights, including freedom of association and collective bargaining based on International Labour Organization or ILO textual sources and national legislation by sex and migrant status. This target gets us a little closer to understanding what SDG 8 means by decent work. We can measure decent work like we can with all topics covered in the SDG targets and indicators. We need work to be decent to achieve the other goals relating to poverty reduction and to fulfil the equality aspirations of the SDGs. For all work to be safe and secure helps to further this aim. In an earlier installment in this series, we explored two treaties which put the Universal Declaration of Human Rights into effect. Article 22 of one of these, the ICCPR, enshrines freedom of association into international law by its parties, with the text, "Everyone shall have the right to freedom of association with others, including the right to form and join trade unions for the protection of his interests." Some of the International Labour Organization conventions which guide international labour law include the Freedom of Association and Protection of the Right to Organise Convention of 1948, the Abolition of Forced Labour Convention of 1957, the Protection of Wages Convention of 1949, the Right to Organise and Collective Bargaining Convention of 49, the Equal Remuneration Convention of 51, the Discrimination, Employment and Occupation Convention of 58, the Migrant for Employment Convention of 49, the Migrant Workers Supplementary Provisions Convention of 75, and the Domestic Workers Convention of 2011. Relevant human rights instruments adopted by the UN General Assembly include the International Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Racial Discrimination and the International Convention on the Protection of the Rights of All Migrant Workers and members of their families. Also relevant are two protocols supplementing a UN Convention against transnational organised crime. Those two protocols are the Protocol to Prevent, Suppress and Punish Trafficking in Persons, especially women and children, of 2000, and the Protocol Against the Smuggling of Migrants by Land, Sea and Air. Many of the countries which may have been at highest risk of fatal occupational injuries don't have data as of 2021. Though among those who do, the highest is Egypt, with 10 per 100,000 workers. For non-fatal occupational injuries, the highest is Costa Rica, with 9,421 per 100,000 workers. When measuring level of national compliance with labour rights, the world has scored 4.5 out of a 0 to 10 measure, with 0 being the best. The worst performers as of 2021 were Iran and UAE, with a score of 10, followed by China scoring 9.